Hey, what's going on guys, my name's Raph, and today, episode 68 of the Pokemon Journeys anime aired in Japan. My goodness, this has to be one of the best episodes in this series at the current time. I enjoyed this episode so much that I wanted to cover some of the key details that will relate to the upcoming Project Mew arc, alongside giving a review on this episode. I'll also be discussing the series of leaks that related to this episode prior to its airing, and a new merchandise scan that could be hinting towards the return of a very famous Sinnoh character. There's a bunch of information to cover, so let's jump straight into it. Don't forget to leave this video a like to show your support, and I'll be sure to bring out my next video shortly. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already to keep up to date, and without further ado, let's begin. Before I commence, seeing as this episode is still fresh at this current time, I can understand why some of you won't want to be spoiled. So if you ended up clicking on this video, then it's a good time to say bye bye and to come back to it at a later time. Or you can also just skip to the next section of this video by clicking on the timestamps in the description. Here's your 5-second spoiler warning. Let's begin with my review on this episode. Straight in, we see Ash and Go visiting Professor Oak's lab where Go delivers some documents from Professor Sakuragi. I love how Go mentions how back when he was visiting the camp as a kid, the group was held up due to a latecomer, of course being our boy Ash who overslept. It was a nice callback. Go reiterating his goal to catch Mew was good, and the surprise from Oak about him catching Suicune showed that Go is proving himself to go down the right path for what he's aiming to do. Moving on to the introduction of Project Mew and its trials, I can understand why Go would have some social anxiety about taking part in new projects. His goal is to catch Mew, and he wouldn't want to divert his focus onto something else, especially in case if he gets judged, hence why he wasn't so appealed to do it. Ash reuniting with his Pokemon made me feel so happy. After all of the years of his journey, showing him reunited with his captures defined how far he has come as a trainer and his history. The small welcome back interactions with Muk and Taurus was a nice detail. As for continuity, this episode roared. Seeing Ash with Chimchar to Infernape in his DP attire was so good. Also shout out to the Tracy fans. Moving on to Infernape's disappearance, it seems like my theory came true about how it's still actively training, seeking to grow in power, leading to the battle with Moltres. Rest in peace Torkoal, no fire spar for you. Gary's introduction was perfect. I love the continuity showing how the Pallet Town kids went from rivals to friends, showing their first interaction, Silver Conference battle, and the Pokeball piece passing. Gary showing an interest in Go wanting to know if he was worthy of being Ash's buddy showed that after all of the history with Ash, he was keen to see how Go was as a trainer. It's just like how Kiare was in the Alola episode. It's like Gary flipped his attitude onto Go, reflecting how he was with Ash back in the old days, showing his competitive side, thinking Go wasn't up for the standard. It was also nice to see Ash confirm that Gary was like this in the past. I was not expecting the pull flashback to the Sinnoh League battle. This really caught me off guard, but it's great to see Gary acknowledge Infernape battling. Ash reuniting with his Sinnoh Firestarter was beyond wholesome. It's been so long. The battle between Moltres was very nice. Lots of action, clean animation. I like the use of CGI for Flamethrower, and Blastoise was putting in that work. Shame it got knocked out. As for the Electivire and Pikachu partnership, clean. Gathering the Moltres feather is giving me an indication that maybe Asahi is gathering the DNA of the Kanto birds before introducing the Galarian variants in the Project Mew arc. I don't know. That's just me speculating. Go failing to record the battle and Gary teasing him was a nice way to show his character towards how he's trying to impress him in front of Ash too. This of course was a small rivalry tease. A nice Asahi debut before Go decided to accept being part of Project Mew was a good way to show that Gary was essentially establishing a rival for him to essentially break free from being anxious. Knowing that Gary is researching Mew shows how keen he is to pursue his own goal, even if he believes it's impossible, which is a legit parallel to how Go is feeling about Mew. It makes sense now why the title of the episode is Go's rival, The Road to Mew. Go concluding with how he wants to try harder to impress Gary and his worth was essential, as it shows that he's still growing and developing. Overall, I really loved the relationship between Ash and Gary in this episode. After 12 years, it was really great seeing them work together and share positivity reminiscing their history. Kobayashi done an amazing job voice acting Gary. Whilst the episode was mainly us expecting to see more of Infernape, I feel Gary was the main gem of this episode, reintroducing his character and showing how despite still being a researcher, he can still pack a punch in battle. I was really impressed with this episode. Shoji Yominara wrote it so well, it felt almost similar to the Gathering of the Gang of Four episode. The callbacks to the original series OST and even new pieces gave the episode such a nostalgic feel. As for the Project Mew trials, I'm keen to see how Ash and Go will be able to fulfill those missions. A couple cons from this episode would be the lack of AG Pokemon and the amount of time Infernape had in the battle, but I'm not going to hold this episode at fault for that. Overall, it's a strong 9 out of 10. Be sure to stay tuned for part 2 of the continuity series, where I'll be explaining each reference thoroughly. Let's take a closer look about what happened during the week prior to the episode's airing, alongside some very interesting merchandise scans. Before I begin, the details I'll be discussing are in no particular order. This is just pure speculation. This section will contain spoilers once again for this episode, so here's your 5-second spoiler warning again. During the week of this episode's airing, the famous Chinese leaker returned to drop some new intel about this episode and the events to unfold. I will not be sharing any leaked images or source links for this section of the video to prevent any confrontation. I will only be discussing the details that were revealed, alongside using actual screenshots from the episode. So who is the leaker? Well, if we go back in time, this is the same person who leaked the outcome of the Ash vs Iris battle, alongside how Volkner was set to return in the anime. So here's the timeline of events. On Friday the 21st of May, the leaker began to provide details about the upcoming episode on a Chinese forum. These details included the outcome of the Moltres battle, what Gary was aiming to get being Moltres' feather, and the colour of his Rotom Dex. The next day, the frame of Ash's Pokemon ended up surfacing on a Russian forum. Later that same day, a third of the entire plot of the episode was revealed, such as the reunion, battle, what Gary said, and how he called Asahi. Moving on to the 24th of May, a leak about some of the plot for the Morpeko episode was revealed, alongside a new merchandise leak focusing on Pokemon such as Rillaboom, Inteleon, SQ, and Toxel. 2 days later, the AniPokePR Twitter account ended up revealing a frame of Ash and Gary being shown in the flashback from episode 1, coinciding with the leaker's plot reveal, providing accuracy and credibility. On the 27th of May, the leaker then went on to say that Morpeko would share a good interactive friendship with James. And finally, on the airing of the episode, new images surfaced showing frames of the flashbacks and actual events. So what's next then? Well, we can't anticipate when the leaker will be providing new pieces of information. Of course, there's a lot of controversy regarding this, depending if this is an anime star from the inside revealing this information. But the best course of action for this is obvious. Stay away from spoilers if you don't want to be spoiled. Finally, we have these new merchandise scans. If we go back in time, we know that a series of merchandise for Pokemon journeys focusing on Pokemon such as Piplup, Inteleon and Darkrai are set to be revealed in August. Taking a look at these new scans, we notice that there is heavy promotion surrounding the Sinnoh region, especially to do with Piplup. With the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl games now confirmed to be releasing on the 19th of November 2021, it begins to question now if we'll be getting the return of any Sinnoh phases to promote and coincide with the anime. Whilst the merchandise does show the Pocket Monsters logo, it's not entirely guaranteed, seeing as most credible pieces of merchandise that relate to the anime are from Bandai. However, if they do, then it's most likely possible that Dawn could be the special character to return next. We've already had Volkner come true, so I wouldn't be surprised if she will be the next in line. I've made a few videos explaining the potentials on this one, so maybe, just maybe, it'll happen in the future. The new merchandise is set to release in June, so maybe for anime events, these will follow months later, potentially giving us the answer. Overall, Pokemon Journeys continues to bring the hype to us all. I'm going to be making a video soon talking about the future of the Pokemon anime, so stay tuned for that. But why not let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. If you guys would like to interact with me, then be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Team PokeRef Discord server to discuss all things Pokemon. You can find the rest of my social networks on screen and in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave it a like, as your support is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. Finally, make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with my videos, and click on the little bell to enable notifications so you guys get notified when I upload a new video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to stick around for more Pokemon content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.